My beloved child. There is a reason you arrived at this exact moment, and before anything else, hold your attention here because something quiet but powerful is already unfolding around you. Do not rush past this moment. Do not treat these next words like something ordinary, because what is reaching you now is not ordinary at all. Some messages arrive like noise, but this one arrives like a key, small in appearance, yet able to open a door that has remained closed for longer than you expected. For a long time, you have sensed that something was moving behind the scenes, even when nothing in front of you seemed to change. You looked around and saw delays, silence, unanswered thoughts, and moments that felt incomplete. Yet even in that silence, something was being prepared carefully, layer by layer, in places you could not see. What felt delayed was not forgotten. What felt hidden was not abandoned. Stay till the end, because the meaning of this moment becomes clearer with every second, and something huge is waiting for you. There are people who noticed your quiet strength without telling you. There are moments from your past that seemed small but were actually turning points. Even the days you thought meant nothing carried hidden weight. What you called ordinary was often preparation. What you called waiting was often protection. And now there is a shift so subtle that many would miss it. But you were meant to hear this before it becomes visible. Do not skip, because what happens next in your understanding may change how you look at everything around you. There are 3 minutes in life that can divide one season from another. Not because the clock itself is powerful, but because a single realization can change how you step into the next hour, the next day, the next decision. A moment arrives, and suddenly what once felt confusing begins to connect. Someone has been wondering why your path has not looked like everyone else's. Why your timing has been different. Why doors opened for others while yours remained still. But what they did not understand is that your story was never meant to follow ordinary timing. Some lives move with visible speed. Others move with invisible depth. Yours has been gathering depth. And now listen carefully, what is delayed is not empty. It is often full. Full of shaping, full of alignment, full of details that must settle before the next opening appears. Many leave too early because silence makes them think nothing is happening. But silence is often where the strongest movements begin. Stay till the end, because there is something here you were not expecting to hear. The pressure you felt recently was not random. The unusual thoughts, the strange pull to pause, the sudden memories returning, the feeling that something important is near. None of that arrived without purpose. Sometimes before a turning point, life becomes unusually quiet so your attention sharpens. There is a reason certain distractions have been falling away. A reason certain conversations no longer satisfy you. A reason certain places feel different now. You are noticing change before change fully arrives. That is why this moment matters. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. There are hidden answers attached to the very things that disappointed you. The closed opportunity that once frustrated you protected you from stepping into something incomplete. The silence from certain people saved your energy for what belongs ahead. Even what looked like distance carried hidden direction. And now, in ways you cannot fully measure yet, what belongs to your next season has already begun moving closer. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Like dawn arriving before anyone announces it. The surprising part is this. Many people think great moments arrive with obvious signs, but often they arrive disguised as an ordinary day, an ordinary hour, an ordinary decision to remain attentive when others look away. That is why you are here now. Because your attention matters in this moment more than you realize. There is something about endurance that changes a person. You endured confusion without fully becoming bitter. You carried questions without letting go completely. Even when tired, you still searched for meaning. That matters more than you know. Stay till the end, because one thought may settle inside you differently today. The chapter ahead does not require you to become someone else. It requires you to understand what has already been forming within you. The strength you thought was small has grown quietly. The wisdom you thought was unfinished has deepened through waiting. Even your silence has taught you things noise never could. And while others looked for visible signs, something greater was being arranged in hidden places: timing, people, moments, clarity. Very soon, one small shift may explain why so much had to wait. One message. One encounter. One realization. One unexpected opening. It often begins that simply. Do not skip now, because the ones who leave early often miss the line meant especially for them. The thing you feared was the end may actually be the point where everything begins to turn. Not loudly. Not instantly. But truly. And when that shift comes, you will remember that before anything visible happened, there was first a quiet message telling you to remain present. Something huge is waiting for you. What is coming next is not built on panic, but on clarity. Not built on noise, but on recognition. The next step will feel different because you will notice what you once overlooked. So hold this moment carefully. Breathe slowly. Remain attentive. Because the next few days may carry one detail that looks small to everyone else, but to you, it will feel like a sentence finally completed after a long pause. And when you see it, you will understand why you were meant to hear this now. Before the next minute passes, listen carefully, because there are moments when everything appears unchanged on the outside while something extraordinary is quietly arranging itself beneath the surface. This is one of those moments. The silence around you may look ordinary, but hidden inside that silence is movement you were never meant to ignore. Stay till the end, because what you are hearing now may explain why certain things have felt unusual lately, why your thoughts have returned to places you thought you had already left behind, and why your spirit has felt as if it is standing near a doorway that has not fully opened yet. There are seasons when life speaks loudly, and there are seasons when it whispers so softly that only those who remain attentive can understand it. Right now, the whisper matters more than noise. The smallest signal may carry the biggest meaning. A glance, a pause, a delay, a sudden feeling to wait one more day, these things are often dismissed, yet sometimes they arrive carrying answers hidden inside them. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. There are people who thought your quiet season meant nothing important was happening. They saw stillness and assumed the story had paused. But stillness is often where unseen foundations are strengthened. What appears slow is sometimes being shaped with precision. What appears empty is often being prepared with care. You may not realize how many things had to align before this exact phase could begin. Certain doors had to remain closed because the timing beyond them was incomplete. Certain conversations had to fade because they belonged to an earlier chapter. Certain hopes had to rest for a while because what was coming required a deeper version of you than the one who first asked for it. And now something inside you has changed enough to notice what you missed before. Stay till the end, because the next thought may stay with you longer than expected. Not every delay was denial. Some delays were protection from arriving too early, speaking too early, trusting too early, or stepping into something before the hidden pieces were ready. You have been watching time pass and wondering why certain things did not move when you expected them to. But timing has its own quiet intelligence. What feels late often arrives carrying a stronger meaning than what would have happened earlier. There is also a reason your attention has become sharper recently. You notice small details more deeply now. A sentence spoken by someone stays in your mind longer. A sudden memory returns with unusual force. A quiet hour feels heavier than before. These are not empty experiences. They are often signs that your awareness is being drawn towards something important. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. A moment is approaching when one ordinary event may feel unusually significant. Others may pass by it without noticing, but you will feel the weight of it because it connects with something you have carried silently for a long time. Sometimes the greatest turning points do not announce themselves loudly, they arrive dressed in ordinary clothing, hidden inside common hours. And this is where many miss what was meant for them. They stop listening too soon, they leave the quiet place too quickly, they assume nothing important can happen in a normal day. But some of the most unforgettable changes begin on days that looked completely ordinary when they started. You were not meant to hear this by accident. There is meaning in your timing even now. There is meaning in why this message reached you before the next chapter fully shows itself. What once felt uncertain is slowly gathering shape. What once looked distant is moving with steps you cannot yet count. And while you may not see everything clearly today, clarity often arrives one piece at a time. Stay till the end, because one hidden truth remains. The thing you thought had become impossible may simply have been waiting for the right hour to appear in a form you did not expect. Sometimes what returns comes back wiser. Sometimes what opens does so quietly. Sometimes what changes begins within before it is visible around you. And if your heart has felt restless lately, if your thoughts have been circling around unfinished questions, if you have sensed that something important is near but cannot explain why, that feeling deserves attention. Do not skip now, because the next days may contain one small confirmation that changes how you understand this season. A word. A meeting. A call. A sudden clarity. A quiet answer. One moment can gather meaning from many months of waiting. Something huge is waiting for you. So remain still enough to notice what others rush past. Remain attentive enough to hear what noise usually hides. Because when the next sign appears, it may not look dramatic to everyone, but to you, it will feel like something long silent has finally spoken. There is a reason your attention is still here, because not every message continues this deeply unless something within it is meant to meet something already living inside you. Right now, before you move away from this moment, understand this carefully. Some answers do not arrive when people demand them, they arrive when the heart has become quiet enough to recognize them. And perhaps that is why this exact minute feels different, because something hidden has been approaching your awareness step by step, without noise, without announcement, without permission from the outside world. Stay till the end, because the next part matters more than it first appears. Many people only trust what they can immediately see, but the most meaningful changes often begin before visible proof appears. Long before sunrise becomes obvious, light has already begun touching the edge of the sky. In the same way, something has already begun moving in your life before you can fully name it. The feeling that something unusual is near is not without meaning. The thought that keeps returning is not random. Even the moments when you suddenly pause and wonder why your heart feels unusually alert may be connected to something preparing itself quietly. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. There are chapters in life when almost everything feels delayed, and during those chapters people often question whether anything important is still ahead. Yet those very chapters often become the hidden foundation for what later feels unforgettable. A person learns patience there. A person learns depth there. A person learns how to stand even when nothing seems to answer immediately. And what many call delay often contains invisible construction. You may have wondered why certain doors closed even after you tried sincerely. Why some opportunities looked near and then disappeared. Why certain expectations dissolved before they became real. But not every closed path was loss. Some closed paths were quiet redirection, guiding you away from something unfinished toward something better aligned with your future. This is why the present moment deserves your full attention. Because there are details now that once would have escaped your notice. A sentence someone says may suddenly carry unusual meaning. A memory may return not to trouble you, but to complete something you never fully understood. A quiet hour may suddenly feel full, not empty. Stay till the end, because a surprising truth is hidden here. The things that looked smallest recently may become the very signs you remember later as the beginning of change. Sometimes people expect transformation to arrive loudly, but often it arrives softly enough that only attentive hearts understand its value. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The reason some things had to remain uncertain is because certainty arrived too early in the past and distracted you from deeper preparation. This time, understanding is arriving differently, slower, steadier, stronger. Not to excite you for a moment, but to anchor you for what comes next. There is also something remarkable about the season you are entering. What once confused you may soon appear simpler than before. Not because every question disappears, but because one key understanding can suddenly place many scattered pieces into order. And when that happens, you often realize the waiting had meaning. A conversation you thought was ordinary may later reveal why it mattered. A moment you nearly ignored may become unforgettable. A pause you once disliked may become the place where your perspective changed. Stay till the end, because what is unfolding now may not be dramatic to everyone around you, but inwardly it carries unusual weight. You are not standing where you stood before. Even if your surroundings look familiar, something within you has changed. Your perception has deepened. Your patience has stretched. Your ability to sense meaning in small things has grown stronger. That growth matters. Because sometimes the next step is only visible to the version of you that has learned how to wait without losing depth. Do not skip now, because this next thought belongs especially to those who have felt that recent days carry unusual stillness. Stillness is not emptiness when something important is gathering shape. Stillness can be the final quiet before clarity enters. Something huge is waiting for you. And very often, what changes everything does not arrive as a crowd. It arrives as one sentence, one encounter, one realization that lands differently than all the others before it. When that moment arrives, it may seem simple from the outside, but inside you will know that something has shifted. That is why remaining attentive matters. That is why this message continues. Because before visible change often comes inner recognition, the quiet understanding that what once seemed distant is no longer as far away as it used to be. And when that recognition settles, even ordinary hours begin to feel filled with unusual meaning. So hold your attention here a little longer. Because the next moment that looks ordinary may carry the exact answer you once thought would take much longer to arrive. What happens next often belongs only to those who stayed long enough to hear the deeper part, because the surface of a message can sound gentle while the center of it carries something unforgettable. Right now, this is where many begin to understand why certain moments in life feel ordinary until suddenly they do not. A day begins like every other day, a thought passes like every other thought, and then one small detail appears that quietly changes the meaning of everything around it. Stay till the end, because this part carries a truth many people realize only after time has already passed. There are times when life seems to repeat itself, yet beneath that repetition something entirely new is being prepared. You may look at the same surroundings, hear the same voices, move through the same hours, but hidden inside those familiar patterns, something different has already started. The difference is subtle at first. It does not announce itself loudly. It enters quietly, almost unnoticed, like light arriving before dawn becomes obvious. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. You may have wondered why certain feelings have become stronger lately, why some memories return without invitation, why some quiet moments feel unusually deep, why your attention suddenly pauses on details you once ignored. Sometimes this happens because your spirit senses movement before your eyes can confirm it. Not everything meaningful arrives with explanation first. Sometimes understanding follows later, after the heart has already recognized that something is near. And what is near now may not look dramatic at first, but its meaning may stay with you longer than expected. There are answers that never come through noise. They come through patience, through observation, through the decision to remain still long enough for hidden patterns to become visible. This is why many miss what was meant for them. They rush past the small beginnings because they expect importance to appear loudly. But some of the most unforgettable beginnings arrive quietly. Stay till the end, because one remarkable thing must be understood. What you thought was taking too long may have been arriving with extraordinary precision. A single hour can hold what months could not explain. A single moment can connect what many previous days left unfinished. A single realization can make past confusion suddenly look different. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The season ahead may not begin with noise, it may begin with recognition. You may suddenly understand why certain paths disappeared, why some expectations faded, why some people moved away from your story while others remained. Time often explains what emotion could not explain earlier. And once clarity arrives, even old questions begin losing their weight. There is also something important about your present attention. Staying here means you are already practicing what many overlook, the ability to remain present when something meaningful is being built word by word, thought by thought. That matters because many transformations begin in attention before they appear in circumstance. You are not only hearing words, you are standing in a moment where reflection itself may open something new inside you. Stay till the end, because the next thought may remain with you after this message ends. Some answers were delayed because they needed the stronger version of you that exists now, not the version that existed before. You have changed more than you may realize. You notice more deeply now. You pause differently now. You understand silence differently now. And because of that, what arrives next may be recognized in a way it could not have been recognized before. Do not skip now, because sometimes the smallest sign becomes unforgettable only later. A word spoken unexpectedly. A sudden peace where there had been uncertainty. A connection between events that previously looked unrelated. These things often become clear only after the moment passes. Something huge is waiting for you. And perhaps the most surprising part is this: what many people search for outside often begins as quiet confirmation inside. Before the visible step appears, there is often a calm certainty that something has shifted. That certainty does not shout. It settles. It stays. It changes how you look at ordinary things. So remain attentive to small moments after this. Remain open to details others may ignore. Because what looks simple to others may carry unusual meaning for you. And when the next ordinary moment suddenly feels unforgettable, you will understand why staying here mattered.